Hello, my name's Shirley Houghton, and the ward I was on was Ward 6. I hadn't been well for some time, and my husband actually, he felt that I needed to go back to hospital because I've been in the Royal Stoke Hospital, but he didn't feel that I was improving sufficiently to what he felt I should be. I just imagined it would be an ordinary hospital, like the Royal Stoke where I've been, where there's wards, that you go into. It is a beautiful building. That was really very, very beautiful. But it frightened me somewhat because I wasn't prepared really. But then, of course, I thought, well, I'm here. I've got to go through with it. So that's what I did. I stayed put. I was still feeling very frightened, but not as frightened, because gradually, as the weeks carried on, I began to feel safer and to feel that all the staff were all there with me, helping me. I was going into the various rooms, we were having dancing, we were having the service, the church service, and we were doing all sorts of things. That really did make a big difference. Going for walks every day. Well, not every day, but certain days. I even went one day, I went to the supermarket with a couple of ladies and they gave me some cash so that I could go and actually buy some food for myself. And I could also make it so that I was able to spend for the food and able to give the change and be in a position where I was capable of doing that. I knew I would be capable, but to be in a hospital and to be with patients, to be with staff, when they actually do take you and allow you to do that, then you also feel more confident because I was able to do it. And I thought, oh, good. If I go home, I will be able to go and do my shopping, be able to use the cash, because you start to think how capable you are. And I just felt as if I was on holiday. Yes, I did feel like I might be on holiday, although you're not. Because sometimes when I'd go to bed, I would lie there and I would think, and I'd think about being at home, being with my family, being with my children, grown up now, grandchildren. Philip, thinking about Philip. Now he's here, he's by himself. He's in the house. And obviously I hope he's okay. The staff have been amazing. All the staff. And I've been helping as well to do all sorts of things, like in the breakfast kitchen, going in there and having my breakfast and then helping with the dishes, washing up, tidying the kitchen, and all those sort of things. So I began to feel, I felt as though I was at home, although it isn't at home, but I did feel with all the people there, they were all making me very at home. Steve, he was absolutely amazing. He would take me when there was a service coming, from the church. I would sit down and we'd listen to the service and I'd sing to the hymns. And that was wonderful. There was a hairdresser's with Stephen and also a lady as well, both of them. And Stephen did my hair and he'd take me into there and it was wonderful. My nails were done, facial, and at Christmas, having my hair done, it was just a joy, it was a treat. And the lovely Christmas presents I had, also from the staff. They bought me Christmas presents. And I didn't expect that. I thought that was just wonderful. Well, I just think they're there every second of the day. They're there for patients. They make you feel that you're safe in every way. And I think that's very important. Yes, I do think the hospital is a wonderful place.
And I think the one thing that I realised, and I ought to have realised it before Shirley was in there, but nevertheless, when you see it for yourself, it comes home to you, and that is that psychiatric hospitals are, or should be, and certainly Harplan's is one, a place of therapy and curing and care, and not just a dumping ground for whatever. And I think that's really, really positive as far as places like Harplan's are concerned. And if there was one message I was going to give to, you know, the world at large, it is exactly that places like Harplan's are worth, as a society, investing in, because they are places of care and therapy and not dumping grounds.
Exactly, yeah. I feel too. I feel that people come in and they're scared. We're all scared. But by the time they've been in, I'm sure they start to feel confident and they feel cared for. And that is the best thing you could have, isn't it? That's the best thing anybody could have, is to feel loved, needed and wanted. I think we all need that, don't we? I've even felt I've wanted to go back. Isn't that strange? I've sort of got up in the morning and I've started thinking about what I would be doing now with Steve, you know, where he's now. He's coming round with the cups of tea and he's saying, "Would you like a cup of tea, Shirley?" And I'm thinking, oh, I wished I was there now having a cup of tea with Steve, you know, and all the things that they are doing. And yes, it's quite amazing.
There is one thing that strikes me, and it's something that I have taken up with the Trust through PALS, and that is, I mean, in Shirley's particular case, all this began when she had a stroke, and she was a week on the stroke ward, and it was known when she was on the stroke ward that there were cognitive problems, but yourselves or any part of that particular department weren't invited to get involved, and I think that that's a mistake. I think that if they're going to have patients, particularly where there's no physical disability after the stroke, but there is cognitive disability, then they really need to take a holistic attitude, a holistic approach to these people, and get the right people involved from day one. I get the impression that there is a lot of insularity between different departments. And I think that from the point of view of the good of the patient, particularly, is a mistake. I think if there is an area of expertise that is required outside of your own, you should not feel too proud to invite it in. You know, you can end up, in an emergency situation where somebody has to go into Harplan's Hospital. And this was 5 months after the event. And that 5 months period was a period of great difficulty for all concerned. And there was no backup there. There was nobody to turn to on this at the time, and it eventually led to Shirley having to go into Harplan's. And if there had been the backup, if there had been the involvement of these people from day one, it wouldn't have had to have happened. I'm convinced of it. You know,
and thankfully I was very fortunate to be in the hospital I was now in. And I think I was very well looked after, very cared for, and that is something which is very precious. I just want to thank everybody. There are so many people, too numerous to probably know all the names, but I just want to say a very big thank you for making me well.
Yeah. And I'd like to second that as well. The patience with which people answered the phone to me more or less every day when I phoned up to find out how she was quite amazing.
So thank you. Thank you isn't big enough really to say thank you. But to me, I'll never forget. I will never ever forget this. I will be grateful for the rest of my life.